Y'all don't understand, it was so hard as a teenager to come up here and speak to you adults and, so hard. All right, well, hello, my name is LaShiya Madden. I am from Elgin, Texas. I am a senior at Elgin High School, as well as the senior class president and president of the National Honor Society. And I attend church at South Austin Community College, where Reverend A.L. Sneed II is my pastor. All right, so I have to be honest with you guys. First, whenever I was preparing the speech, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be nervous. I don't got to oh my gosh. So I did my research, of course, and I read some of MLK's background and bibliography and all of that stuff. And then I finally came to the conclusion that I am going to take the I Have a Dream speech and read some of the parts that I felt was important to me. So I'm going to start with an excerpt. It says, "In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cast a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black as well as white men, would be guaranteed the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on the promissory note. Insofar as her citizens of color are concerned, instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds." And well, when I read this excerpt, I was thinking, whenever he was writing this, he must have felt shorted, as if, who are they to feel better than I, And him as a pastor, he had to think as a Christian, through Christ, I can do all things. So while I'm, preparing the speech, I'm going to, let him know exactly how it should be. And as well in the excerpt, he said, "Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. Yeah. I say to you, my friends." And whenever I think that, is like, just in real life, you can't just, oh my gosh, my life is over because this one bad thing happened. You have to keep on, persevere, and get the job done. Yeah. And so, as I was reading, I had read that he learned from Gandhi the nonviolent way to get your point across with, your country. And while I was reading, I read that, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And I was thinking, I do that as well. Like Dr. King, I am a head of several organizations, and I know that you can't expect things to go the way that you want them to go if you don't plan to participate. You can't talk. You have to put forth the work to do what you need to do to get it done. Yep. And once again, there's another excerpt. With this faith, we will be able to hew out the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the genuine discords of our nation into a beautiful sympathy of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. And while I was reading that, I couldn't help but think, oh my gosh, this is my favorite part. As a leader, I love knowing that we can all come together and get a common understanding of what's going on. I love having other people's input. I love being able to get other people's perspective, because if you get everybody's perspective, you can reach a lot more people instead of just one type of person. And then, as well, you can't, just market yourself to only one type of person if you want to reach the world. There's a ton of different people in this world. Yes. And as well as him being a preacher, all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. And so he believed, there's one God, we all believe in one God, then we should all work together as one person. So, as I'm closing out the last excerpt, and when this happens, we will allow freedom reign. When we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we'll be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, we will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Thank you. I'm LaShiya Madden.